And a good Wednesday to you. It is the 26th day of June, 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Live channel, your local TV station. Good to have you on board. Got a pretty good show for you today. Whenever I have somebody who's smarter than me on this program, which is every weekday, it's always a good show. Dr. Jennifer Jorgesen will be my guest in the second half of the program. She came by on Monday, and we taped the interview segment to air today because tomorrow night at Confluence Health, they're hosting a special program, a special symposium. It's called Cover Your Butt, which is a nice little play on words. But basically, it's about getting screened for colorectal cancer. Incidents and cases of colorectal cancer are on the rise for any number of reasons. But if you haven't done it yet, first of all, you need to have it done. She'll talk about the age groups, the demographics that need to have this colorectal cancer screening done, but they've made it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. In fact, there's a procedure now that you can do without having to do a full-on colonoscopy that will tell you if they think you need to do a full-on colonoscopy. It's a very fascinating conversation with Dr. Jennifer Jorgesen. That's coming up in the back half of the hour. We have a forecast, a very important forecast. Don't be deceived by this morning's beautiful weather. Things are going to change. It's going to be a very active day, especially this afternoon. Thunderstorms, a possibility. Heavy rain tonight, a distinct possibility. They're in the lower valleys anyway. Of course, they're really getting into the cherry season, the cherry harvesting season, and cherries and rain this time of year do not mix. Hopefully the rain will miss us, but right now that doesn't look like the case, especially this afternoon into the evening hours. That all-important forecast coming up. Keep a close eye on that. We also have your Wednesday morning news. It was a busy day around the newsroom yesterday. We'll fill you in on what happened yesterday with the news coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We got sports. The Wenatchee Apple Sox 6-game losing streak is over. Victoria got the better of them in a big way up in Canada. We'll talk about that when we get to sports, but a nice victory for the Mariners. Also some fishing news involving both the Columbia River and Lake Chelan. Eric Granstrom, our local sports guy, is also a fishing nut. He loves to fish. He loves to catch fish even more. He's got the latest on that. Plus, we have the obscure holiday. We have Today in History, birthdays, and everybody is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. If it's okay with you, and it doesn't really matter if it's okay with you, let's go around the Wenatchee Valley with our Valley View cameras. Go to see if Local tells Sky-Fi high-speed wireless, and as usual, the cross camera gets to bat lead off. Always gets to go first. This is the most important camera that we have. It's a 4K camera. Super duper high definition. We can zoom in and out. Again, they're called PTZ cameras because we can pan and tilt and zoom, and that means whenever something happens within the range of that camera, we can zip in on it, be it a wildfire or a traffic accident or whatever the case may be, and we use that as a news gathering tool on a regular basis, and why not? Plus, it's a phenomenal view. I mean, look at that. It's just gorgeous, and look how much the Wenatchee and East Wenatchee area has grown just in the last 10 years, not to mention the last 20 years. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley, the lifeblood of North Central Washington. At this point forward, I don't know. Megan gets to decide. Camera 2 is going to be off to Apollonie's. We call that the Apollonie's camera. It's on that ridge above Apollonie's in the Antique Mall. You can see the Applets and Cotlets bridges that come into town. You can see Riverside Park, Mount Stewart, Mount Cashmere, plainly in view, and all those orchards with those cherry growers keeping their fingers crossed. My guess is they're just going as fast as they can to get those cherries off the trees and get them swamped before the expected rain comes this afternoon and this evening. Camera number 3. Let's say good morning to Leavenworth. The beautiful, I believe that's the Tumwater Canyon. We've moved that. It's a beautiful view. We moved it. A few high clouds, lovely day up there. The guy who cut my hair yesterday said, you got to play Leavenworth's golf course. I haven't done so. I haven't done it in a couple of years, actually. He said the course is in really, really good shape. And, of course, it's a beautiful golf course to play. And it's one of those few golf courses that you're just playing golf and a deer just walks across the fairway. Cato Glen, too, I guess. Good morning, Leavenworth. And camera 4, where are we off to, Megan? We're going to say hello and good morning to the Lake Chelan area from McNeil Canyon, the very top of McNeil Canyon, looking down over Lake Chelan. The Chelan Butte is on your far left. Lake Chelan just over that ridge. Chelan Falls is in there somewhere. You can't see the Columbia River. It's completely blocked, and some of the lovely homesteads on top of McNeil Canyon. Beautiful view there. I'd live up there at McNeil Canyon, but I don't have the wherewithal to do so. I wouldn't mind living up there, but and I like the people who do, but I don't know. I can't afford it. There you go. I make that plain as be. So those are our 4 cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. You know what that means. You don't need fiber to your house to get high-speed wireless. All you have to do is give Localtel a call and say, I live up McNeil Canyon, and I can see that tower. Can I get Sky-Fi? The answer is probably yes. Give Localtel a call at 888-8888, and they'll get you taken care of. All right, from the National Weather Service, we've been talking about it all morning. Let's go ahead and do that forecast. There you go. It's a very active day today. We're going to see some showers later on this afternoon. Can't rule out a thunderstorm. In fact, I have a graphic to show you from the National Weather Service that they sent to us yesterday afternoon. They're also going to do a special briefing for the local news outlets later on this morning because they're a little worried about thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are very unpredictable. And again, there's a big low pressure ridge. It's right off the Oregon coast. It spins counterclockwise. That's what low pressure does. It's going to grab a bunch of moisture from the Pacific Ocean and bring it up right through all of eastern Washington. And everything is coming from the south. So you'll want to look to the south and you'll see the clouds begin to thicken up and build up as the day progresses. By noon or so, it'll be half clouds, half sun. By 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, it'll be mostly cloudy skies. And then we start worrying about showers and thunderstorms. That timetable for showers is about 5 o'clock till about 9 o'clock for showers mixed with thunderstorms. Then we transition to some significant rainfall for tonight. We have a very good chance of measurable rainfall, upwards of 1/4 of an inch. That is a lot of rain for us. Also, can't rule out thunderstorms. And of course, thunderstorms can produce heavy rain and lightning at times, and that's a really bad thing because if we get lightning strikes on the ground, we could get wildfires coming up. If there's any good news in any of this, really not a lot of wind expected. This is a very slow-moving system, this low pressure off the Oregon coast. It's going to sit there. It's not going to go anywhere, so it's going to continuously feed beginning later on this afternoon, all the way really into Friday, one system after the other with very unstable air, gusty winds, even hail is a possibility. Mostly the showers will be scattered showers, so hit and miss, but there is a distinct possibility of heavy rain tonight, basically between about 9 o'clock this evening till about 2 o'clock in the morning. Best chance of considerable rain again, up to 1/4 of an inch possible. By the time we get to Thursday morning, it shouldn't be too bad. Still a 50-50 chance of precipitation, still a chance of a passing thunderstorm, although we'll see some sunshine. You'll see that high tomorrow of 74 is a little on the cool side. Actually, for this time of year, we're supposed to be at 81. By the way, sunrise this morning was at 5:05. Sunset tonight at 9:02. That gives us 15 hours and 57 minutes of daylight. Again, we're keeping a very close eye, especially late this afternoon into the early morning hours on Thursday for the most significant rainfall. Could get some heavy rain in some locations. And again, if you find those pockets of thunderstorms, those pop-up thunderstorms, heavy rain there, it's more about elevation. The farther up you are in elevation, the greater the odds are that you're going to have a thunderstorm. So we're talking Leavenworth Plain, up the Medhow Valley, Medhow, Twisp, up in that area, up to Winthrop, and then you pop over the Cascade Ridge and into the Omak-Okanagan area. The chance of measurable thunderstorms there is considerably higher than it is in the Wenatchee Valley. But nobody is going to be out of the woods. Everybody is going to run the risk of having a passing thunderstorm and some significant rain this evening, spilling into Thursday. And it's going to be unsettled weather, really, all the way into Friday. But the weekend is looking good. And as far as the forecast for the upcoming Independence Day weekend, we don't know. It's too far out. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have your Wednesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning. Oh, thanks to Confluence Health. Can't forget about Confluence Health. Confluence Health providing safe, quality health care for everybody in North Central Washington. The news is next.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurance Services of North Central Washington, where we like to teach our customers how to shop and compare from all the Medicare options. Now, a lot of folks will come in and tell me, Jim, I'm so confused about all these choices. In fact, there's 21 reasons you can join a Medicare plan. But we want to focus on the specific plan that's right for you. So if that's what you need, give us a call at Senior Insurance, 888-2600, or visit one of our 5 locations.
Just about 11 minutes after the hour, we have lots of sunshine at 55 degrees, but don't be fooled. Increasing clouds throughout the course of the morning. Lots of clouds this afternoon. We could see some thunderstorms and rain this afternoon into the evening hours, and some significant rainfall, heavy rain possible in the evening hours into the early morning hours on Thursday. Here's us making headlines on this Wednesday. A final report has been issued in connection with that outside review of the East Wenatchee Police Department, and the findings are eye-opening, to say the least. Our very own senior news correspondent, Steve Hare, filed this report.
A highly critical report obtained by NCW Live News through a public records request follows an independent review of the police department requested by Chief Randy Harrison, Mayor Steve Lacey, and the Police Officers Union. Harrison and his assistant chief Ray Coble are accused of mismanagement by the union, and they've received a vote of no confidence by its membership. The review was conducted through the Washington State Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs and the Loaned Executive Management Assistance Program, or LEMAP. The report's findings appear to substantiate some of the union's concerns. The report also identifies a lack of top-down communication as a major grievance. The report says most officers and sergeants are frustrated by the infrequent presence of both the chief and assistant chief due to their offices being located outside of the headquarters building and in an adjoining house. The review panel found problems with various department functions, including outdated record keeping. The report states the LEMAP team discovered considerable inefficiencies and underutilization of technologies, which is hindering the department and creating considerable work. The report also cited training as a significant vulnerability. In its words, because the agency does not have an actual or authentic training program, end quote. 79-page report provides an assessment of all facets of the police department and a set of recommendations for improving the functions of the department and morale. Meanwhile, the report said the department has experienced significant turmoil over the past year, resulting from an internal investigation where a sergeant was eventually provided with a letter of reprimand. The LEMAP report says, quoting here, "The current dispute between labor and management has created significant fracture within the department, particularly within the bargaining unit. Officers and sergeants are not united with their complaints about management, and the fracture across all strata of the department needs to be resolved if the department is to move forward. Leadership on both sides, according to the report, will be fundamental to resolving the conflict." Steve Hare, NCW Live News.
Thank you, Steve, for that report. A suspect led a Douglas County Sheriff's deputy on a chase early Tuesday morning that ended up shortly after the suspect's Mercedes crashed into an unoccupied car in East Wenatchee. Arrested was Joey Shu Garcia, 22 years old, of East Wenatchee. The incident started about 1 a.m. on Fancher Field Road when the deputy tried to stop the Mercedes for expired tabs. But Shu Garcia reportedly failed to stop and led the deputy in a pursuit into town, where he crashed into a parked car in the 1500 block of Baker Avenue. The sheriff's office said Shu Garcia then attempted to flee on foot, but was later located and arrested. Well, a decision on whether to prosecute the owner of a dog who was found shot 3 times near the Beehive Reservoir will likely be made by a prosecutor from outside the area. This is according to Chelan County Prosecutor Doug Shea. The person who shot the dog is an unidentified employee of Chelan County. The dog, a pit bull terrier mix named Louie, survived his injuries and has undergone surgeries to remove bullets from his head and shoulder. Wenatchee police completed their investigation Friday and turned their report over to Shea's office. This is according to Wenatchee Captain Edgar Reinfeld. Shea said he received that report on Monday, is now looking for another prosecutor's office to make a determination on charges. Louie was found June 5th off Mission Ridge Road. The owner came forward the next day saying the dog had become vicious in recent months and had attacked multiple family members. Eastmont High School graduate Stephanie Grisham has been named as the new press secretary and communications director for President Trump. Grisham, then known as Stephanie Allen, graduated from Eastmont High School back in 1994. She's been involved in Republican politics for more than a decade, starting in Arizona. She joined Trump's presidential campaign in 2015 and was deputy press secretary for Sean Spicer before moving to the First Lady's office, where she has been communications director for Melania Trump the past 2 years. She replaces Sarah Sanders as the president's press secretary and Bill Shine as communications director. Well, a bridge project on Blewett Pass near Squaw Creek Campground means flagger-controlled delays of up to 20 minutes this week for motorists. The Washington State Department of Transportation had hoped to have a bypass lane opened by Tuesday, but that won't happen until today, when speed limits will be reduced to 50 miles per hour as vehicles move into the bypass lane. WashDOT is replacing an old culvert with a bridge as part of the $4.5 million project. The state says the culvert, which was overrun by a record runoff back in 2011, has been a barrier to salmon and trout. Well, Shalina Douglas counties could take advantage of a new state law that enables local government to use sales tax dollars for homeless housing projects. Commissioners met in a joint session on Monday to discuss House Bill 1406 and how it could be used to address affordable housing issues in the area. Chelan County Commissioner Kevin Overbay explains.
What this would do is this would create an additional revenue stream for the county, which is dollars that are already paid by the citizens, so it's not a new tax. It's just a remittance back on part of the state portion. The caveat to that is it would be off of the aggregate sales tax from 2019. And so whatever that 0.014% of that aggregate 2019 sales tax would be for the county would then be the amount that they would remit back to us. And so this sunsets in 20 years. And so it's not something that is going to be based upon each year. It's just going to be based upon those totals for 2019. And that's what would be remitted back to the county for that purpose.
Overbay says the program can also help with low-income rental assistance.
One of the things that the state has gone away from on the Commerce with their CHG grant, their Consolidated Housing Grant, is they've taken a lot of the prevention dollars away. And that's one of the things that both Commissioner Straub and myself were very passionate about advocating for, is keeping those prevention dollars in place with the flexible funding for the county on the short-term prevention piece, so that we can keep people in their homes and not having them go through an eviction process and then become part of the overall homeless problem. And so those prevention dollars are very important. And it's one of those things where it might be somebody who their car breaks down, they're living right paycheck to paycheck, and they need to have that little boost for that month. And so the ability to go ahead and provide that rental assistance for that month so to keep them on their feet.
And finally, on this Wednesday morning, in an effort to help Grant County residents prepare for the upcoming wildfire season and other natural disasters, Molina Healthcare of Washington is partnering with local organizations to host 2 wildfire preparedness events to kick off the summer. The first event, in partnership with Moses Lake Community Health Center and the Moses Lake Public Library, takes place today at the library from 4 to 7 this afternoon. The second event, in partnership with the Quincy Community Health Center, will take place at the Health Center tomorrow, also from 4 to 7. The organizations will provide educational materials on fire safety, reusable bags, hand sanitizers, bandage dispensers, and certified face masks for the whole family. Hopefully nobody will have to use them. And that is the news at 19 minutes after the hour on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We invite you to watch the news tonight. Our newscast, the NCW Life Evening News with Grant Olson at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5, 6, and 10. Grant also handles the weather forecast. He's going to be a very busy man today with the chance of some significant rain and thunderstorms in the Wenatchee Valley this afternoon, this evening, and into the early part of Thursday. So Grant with the news and the weather, Eric Granstrom with sports, and you can check it out at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5, 6, and 10, available on demand on our website too, late in the afternoon, right around 4:30 or 5. You can go to our website at ncwlife.com, and you can't miss it. It's right there, our news. You can also watch archived programs and archived news by going to the Watch Now tab. And you can also contact us via our website. There's a Contact Us icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Click on it, fill out the form, push send, and we get it. We'd love to hear from you. You can drop us a line via the email if you want, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our Facebook page and drop us a note there via a message. Be sure to like us while you're hanging around there. Get a hold of us if you have a news tip, if you just want to say hi, whatever the case may be. Get a hold of us here at the NCW Life channel. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to get a hold of us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, sports. Apple Sox took one on the chin, but the Mariners started a road trip on a winning note. We got sports, the obscure holiday today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And my conversation with Dr. Jennifer Jorgesen from Confluence Health. It's time, if you haven't had your, it's about colorectal cancer. I know it's not a very light topic, but they're going to make it as easy as possible for you to get that procedure done. You want to get that screened. We'll talk about that with Dr. Jorgesen. All that and more between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I told Mr. Nielsen about Simon. He's the best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the health. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Welcome back. 22 minutes after the hour. Fair skies, 55 degrees. Clouds will be thickening up, and we're going to be in for some very unsettled weather beginning this afternoon and really spilling all the way into Friday with a significant chance of some heavy rain later on this evening into early Thursday morning. And again, look to the south. Everything is going to be coming from the south, including some possible thunderstorms. Let's do sports. While fishing for Chinook salmon won't happen on the Columbia River this summer, it seems anglers have found another source in Lake Chelan. Watching social media, it appeared Lake Chelan had become a hotbed for finding king salmon. Well, that's not quite the case, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife biologist Travis Maitland, but he does say the numbers of fish have improved.
Yeah, we are seeing more. I don't know if we're really seeing a boom in the fishery right now. It definitely has been a nice increase. What we're seeing in the fishery is very indicative of an increase in the population. We're seeing a lot more fish being caught on all types of gear. We're seeing more fish being caught on kokanee gear, as well as more people actually actively targeting Chinook as the word kind of spread about this.
Maitland says the fish that we're seeing today are the result of robust net pen program decades ago and healthy landlocked salmon reproducing in Lake Chelan.
From 1974 up until 1993, the Chinook were reared and released from two net pens located at Cove Marina and at 25 Mile Creek on the lake. When the program was operated in that manner, we were able to grow the fish past the smolt stage and to a much larger size. That dramatically increased their survival and also prevented them from having the urge to immigrate downstream, and in effect, it residualized them or created them as a landlocked stock. After 1993, the net pen operation it was discontinued due to concerns of water quality. There were some concerns of excess nutrient loading into the lake at those locations. From 1994 to 2016, the program was relegated to being reared entirely in a hatchery setting. That created some problems as far as not having enough space to rear them to a larger size. So their survival hadn't been that good since they were released in a much smaller size, and also they may not have been residualized, so they may have left the lake. So as a result, for those years, those fish had not show up in the fishery at all. And we know that because all these fish from those years had been marked, adipose fin clipped. And we creel the fishery pretty much every year, and had no angler reports of catching any of those fish. And so since that wasn't working, that program has been discontinued at this point.
By the way, we'll have more on Chinook fishing in Chelan tonight with Travis Maitland right here on the NCW Life Channel with the news. Wenatchee's 6-game winning streak came to an end in a big way last night in Victoria. 14-5 was the final. The Harbor Cats jumped on Apple Sox starter Gavin Gorell, scored 4 runs before the fans at Royal Athletic Park could even get their seats warm. Victoria scored on 2 bases-loaded walks and a 2-run base hit by Nate Picata in the first frame, so Gorell was out of the ball game, just 2 outs into the ball game. Wenatchee tried to mount a comeback in the 4th. They scored on back-to-back RBI base hits by Quinn Ayers and Jason Heredia and a sacrifice fly by Coldy Colden, but the Cats came right back with a 4th spot of their own in the bottom of the 4th, highlighted by Griffin Paxton's 2-run triple. The Apple Sox were led at the plate by Johnny Sage. Johnny went 3 for 5 with a couple of runs. However, any thought of a comeback was squelched in the 7th on a pinch-hit grand slam home run by the Harbor Cats' Nick Adams. 2 teams will go at it again tonight. 6:35, Ryan Long will start for Wenatchee. Jack Needley will toe the rubber for Victoria. Also in the West Coast League, yesterday, Corvallis took advantage of 2 Ridgefield errors to score 5 first-inning runs, held on for the 7-3 victory. The Knights were led by Matthew Gretler, who was 2 for 4 with a couple of runs and an RBI. Colin Suter threw 8 innings of 3 hits, scored us ball with 6 strikeouts to lead Portland past Kelowna 4-0. John Jensen was 3 for 3 at the plate for the Pickles with a run. Bend scored 3 runs to break a 1-1 tie in the 6th, and when they went on to beat Walla Walla 4-2. Ryland McKnight tossed 2 innings of scoreless relief to earn the victory, his first victory of the season. Yakima Valley rained out at Port Angeles, so they're going to make it up today or try anyway, to make it up with a couple of 7-inning games. The first will start at 5 o'clock, and in non-league play, Derek Marshall had a walk-off 2-run double. Bellingham came back to beat Highline 6-4. The latest standings in the West Coast League, courtesy of Les Schwab. Bellingham's lead is now just a half game after Victoria's win over Wenatchee. The Apple Sox tied with the Yakima Valley for 3rd. They're 4 games back, and Port Angeles remains in 5th, and Kelowna in 6th. Stock Mariners former Apple Sox pitcher Marco Gonzalez threw 5 innings of 3-run balls, struck out 4. Helped his own cause with a sacrifice bunt. Seattle beats Milwaukee in Milwaukee 8-3. The big inning for the Mariners came in the 3rd. An RBI triple by J.P. Crawford, an RBI double by Domingo Santana, and a 2-run home run by Daniel Vogelbach. Seattle has yet to announce the starter for today's game. The Brewers will go with Adrian Hauser, first pitch at 5:10. To the American League West scoreboard on Tuesday, again courtesy of Les Schwab. Ronald Guzman 2 for 3 with a home run and a couple of RBIs to lead Texas past Detroit 5-3. Jesse Chavez was also stellar on the mound. He allowed 1 run, 5 hits in 6 1/3 innings with 7 strikeouts. Yuri Gurriel was 2 for 3, a 2-run home run. Alex Bregman 3 for 4 with a solo shot, 3 runs. Houston beat Pittsburgh 5-1. Garrett Cole pitched 6 innings of 1-run ball to earn his 7th victory on the mound. Chad Pinder and Marcus Simeon homered in a 6-run 5th inning. Oakland topped St. Louis 5-3. And Louis Renifo's 2nd inning 3-run home run was the difference. Los Angeles beating Cincinnati 5-1. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday. It is 29 minutes after the hour. June 26th is Chocolate Pudding Day. Chocolate pudding. It's an unofficial holiday. Of course, most of these obscure holidays are unofficial. It's everybody's favorite lunch dessert snack. I know when I was a kid, they always packed a little pudding thing with the tin can for your dessert. I would usually eat it in about 2.5 spoonfuls. That's about all it took. It is believed that the word pudding, by the way, comes from the old French word boudin, which means sausage. I don't see the connection between pudding and sausage. I guess, maybe, I don't know. Best way to celebrate National Chocolate Pudding Day is make your own chocolate pudding from scratch and share it with your family and friends. Yeah, chocolate pudding is easy to make, or you can just buy it and eat it, but something about chocolate pudding made from scratch is extremely good. Also, you can make a chocolate pie, and you use chocolate pudding for the filling. And that's pretty good. And a fun fact about chocolate, the majority of the world's chocolate is produced in the Ivory Coast. There you go. The Ivory Coast. When you think of ivory, you think white, and yet they make most of the world's chocolate. Kind of like sausage and, anyway. Happy National Chocolate Pudding Day. Celebrate it with somebody you love. 30 minutes after the hour. Today in history. 71 years ago today, the New Yorker magazine published a short story written by Shirley Jackson called The Lottery. When I first read it, I was ready to read it because I thought it was tips on how to win the lottery. It's not. It's a very disturbing book. It's also one of the most famous short stories ever written. The New Yorker got a lot of flack. A lot of people read The Lottery because it's an incredible short story. It's chilling. I'm not going to lie to you. If you don't know what it's about, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You just have to read it. It's a short story. It doesn't take a great deal of time. Conformity gone mad, I guess is the best way to put it. But the New Yorker took a lot of heat from a lot of people. A lot of people canceled their subscription to the New Yorker. I didn't subscribe to the New Yorker to read this. Shirley Jackson's legendary short story, The Lottery, is published for the first time 71 years ago today. If you haven't read it, you should read it. Going to make you do that. June 26, 1974, 45 years ago today, at the Marsh Supermarket in Troy, Ohio, the Universal Product Code, the UPC code, was scanned for the very first time. They took an actual photo of this event. It was a package of Wrigley's chewing gum, and the UPC code was here to stay, and now, of course, it is everywhere. Every package everywhere has its own unique UPC code. By the way, that very same package of gum is on display at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. Why anybody would want to open it up and chew a 45-year-old package of gum is beyond me. But now, of course, the UPC code is everywhere. And we just trust it. You notice that? In the old days, you go to the store, and they'd ring up the price, the cashier, and it would take a little time. So you would chat with the cashier. I remember those days very well. Now with the UPC code, it's a lot quicker. It's bloop, 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 bloop. But you have to assume that the UPC code and the price is what it is. You can see the screen. The LED screen is right there at the grocery store, but it goes so fast. I guess we're just trusting them that the price that it's scanning is the price it's supposed to be. Happy 45th birthday to the Universal Product Code. Nobody knew this event at the time, but in retrospect, now we know. Look at that concert ticket from June 26, 1977 at the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. Elvis Presley gave a concert. Nobody knew it at the time. It would be his final concert. Elvis took the rest of the summer off, and we all know what happened in August of 1977. Elvis Presley's final concert took place on this date 42 years ago today. The last song he ever sang in concert, in public, Can't Help Falling in Love, his signature song that he would close out most of the concerts. It was the last song Elvis would sing in public. It happened 42 years ago today. And this is the 4th anniversary of Obergefell v. Hodges. The United States Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriages, constitutional. Same-sex couples have a constitutional right to get married in accordance to the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution in a 5-4 ruling. And it has been the law of the land ever since. It happened 4 years ago today. And finally, let's do birthdays. On this June 26th, Abner Doubleday was born on this date 200 years ago today. He was an American general. He fired the first shot in defense of Fort Sumter, the opening battle of the Civil War. He was a Civil War hero. He was a hero at Gettysburg. He went to San Francisco after the war and obtained the patent for the cable cars that still run in San Francisco. And in 1839 in Cooperstown, New York, Abner Doubleday did not invent the game of baseball, one of the great fallacies in American history. But he lived a pretty full life, and he was born 200 years ago today, the man who didn't invent baseball, but he did a lot of other important things. Paul Castellano was born on this date in 1915. He was an American gangster. From 1976 to 1985, he was the godfather of the Gambino crime family. He ran the Gambino crime family. One of his lieutenants, John Gotti, made his bones, worked his way up through the organizational ladder, got to be about third in command of the Gambino crime family, and decided, I want to run the Gambino crime family, and the only way to run the Gambino crime family is to get rid of the godfather himself, Paul Castellano. So John Gotti arranged for his assassination. He was shot to death in Manhattan In 1985, at the age of 70, Paul Castellano, the godfather of the Gambino crime family. Nick Offerman is 49 years old today. We love Nick. Yeah, funny guy. Parks and Recreation, he was hilarious. He got a lot of awards for playing Ron Swanson. Of course, he was on the FX series Fargo. He's on television commercials now. Talented guy, funny guy, Nick Offerman. Happy birthday, Nick. He's 49 years old today. And Yankee legend Derek Jeter, 45 today. Holds a lot of Yankee records. The Yankee all-time leader in hits, doubles, games played, stolen bases, plate appearances, time on base, at-bats, 14-time an All-Star, 5 World Championships. And now, of course, he's part of the ownership group that owns the Miami Marlins. Derek Jeter, who's eligible for the Hall of Fame next year, is 45 years old today. Happy birthday, DJ. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have a Mike Magnotti opinion for you. And then we'll take another break and come back, and we'll have my conversation with Dr. Jennifer Jorgesen. The topic is cover your butt. It's a serious topic. We'll hear from Dr. Jorgesen when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Welcome to Boswell's Home Furnishings. Come in and explore their expansive 2-story showroom at your leisure. You'll find comfort and inspiration for every room in your home. Boswell's has been filling customer furniture needs for decades, from contemporary to the classics, for living room, dining room, and bedroom sets. Purchase in-store or create your own unique style. With Boswell's complimentary design service, your vision is their passion. Where would you like to start?
Being able to support yourself and your family is an important part of who we are. We all need to know we're able to provide ourselves with a secure future. Some job seekers have a harder time finding work. That's why Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is here, a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to help people find work. When you shop at or donate to Goodwill, you're really being a job creator, and that's a good thing for everyone's future. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
If you love tennis, you need to experience Central Washington's best-kept secret, Harmony Meadows. Harmony Meadows is a world-class destination tennis and event center nestled between the Cascades and Orchardland in the beautiful Chelan Valley. The 8 outdoor tennis courts feature Lake Hole Masters 8, a cushioned surface used at the Miami Open. There's also 2 outdoor pickleball courts. With the stunning backdrops, Harmony Meadows is your ace destination. Call or see them on the web. Harmony Meadows.
Lake Chelan Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer. Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course mailboxes, even passport photos. Chelan Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.
Manny Sanchez here at Town Nissan to tell you how you can spend a weekend at one of the top resorts in North Central Washington. It's the Drive to Paradise. Just stop by the dealership in June, test drive one of these exciting vehicles, and you will be entered to win. Drive the top-selling SUV Rogue or the very American Titan truck with the best warranty around. 5 years, 100,000 miles. Take a drive today, and you can end up here at Campbell's Resort for a fabulous weekend for 2. It's the Drive to Paradise, only at Town Nissan, behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, there's an old saying, clothes make the man. Really? This seems kind of naive and prejudicial to me. Just because some guy is nicely dressed, does that mean he's a better man, a man of greater integrity and character than someone who's less well dressed? Now, granted, a person's outward appearance can sometimes be an expression of their inner personality. Actually, quite often, clothing-wise, that's the effect many people are after. But let's face it, just because somebody's dressed nice, it doesn't mean they are nice. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life Channel the Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Two Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series, only on the NCW Life Channel.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
The pirates are coming! The pirates are coming to Lake Chelan on the 4th of July for our 3rd annual 4th of July Pirate Fun Run along the water. The fun run is either a 2K for the beginners or a 4K for those die-hard pirates. Participants get a free pirate t-shirt, and if you finish, you'll get a pirate medal. So go online for information at LakeChelanPiratefest.com. Get on board! A pirate's life for you at Lake Chelan.
Welcome back to Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to actually legally say on television, without getting my FCC license revoked, to cover your butt. But this is just a play on words, because we're actually talking about a very, very important programming that's going to happen at Confluence Health this Thursday. This week we're talking about screening for colorectal cancer, which is easily detectable and easily treatable if you do it right. Or just do it at all. Everybody should have it done at a certain point. We'll talk about that. My guest is Dr. Jennifer Jorgesen, who's going to talk about the importance of colorectal cancer screening, because as it turns out, you probably may not need to actually go through the whole colonoscopy thing. There's now a procedure to precede the colonoscopy. Is that correct? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, kind of. There are options for colon cancer screening. Okay. So colonoscopy is one option, and the test that you're referring to is called a FIT test. Stands for fecal immunochemical test. That is another option. And so I'll just tell you a little bit about the FIT test since you brought it up. It is a test that basically detects microscopic amounts of blood. And so many polyps and many cancers bleed a little bit, not enough that you can detect it with your own eyes, but it's picked up by this test. So it's not a perfect test. In fact, none of our screening tests are perfect, but it's a pretty good test. And sometimes it can alleviate the need to get a colonoscopy. If it's negative, then you have to keep doing it every year for it to be effective. But a lot of people don't want to get a colonoscopy for a variety of reasons, probably some of which you can speak to.
I've had mine.
So it is a nice alternative to colonoscopy for screening.
Well, my primary care physician, once I turned 50, said you really need to do this, even though you don't have any family history of it. You should do it. You should just do it because it's easily treatable. It's not that much of an inconvenience, and that was after I turned 50, and I waited, quite frankly, 2 years after that before I finally had it done. I'm glad I did it. Came out perfectly clean, no problems at all there. Should everybody have a colonoscopy, period? Everybody?
So we target people that are between the ages of 50 and 75 if you don't have any additional risk factors. That's the population that has the highest incident. If you're African American, we usually start at 45. There has been a slight increase in the incidence in younger patients. So the American Cancer Society is recommending 45 to begin screening.
Okay.
But a lot of insurance companies haven't decided to cover that yet. If you have increased risk, meaning that you have a family history of colon cancer, or if your mother, father, sister, brother had polyps, then we usually start screening 10 years before whenever they were diagnosed with their polyps or cancer.
Okay. Are the polyps always precancerous, or is it just this could be a problem, so we're just going to take them out now?
Good question. So there are basically 3 types of polyps, and 2 of them are precancerous, and 1 type is not precancerous. But it's difficult to tell sometimes just by looking. So if we see a polyp, we remove it. And that's one of the best things about colon cancer, if there can be a good thing about colon cancer, is that it's completely preventable. So a lot of cancers that we screen for, like breast cancer and lung cancer, we're trying to find the cancer at an early stage so that we can treat it successfully. But with colon cancer, we can actually prevent it from happening at all, because we can remove these polyps, and if you remove the polyps, they don't have a chance to become cancer.
How much does diet play a role in this? You say now it tends to be skewing a little bit younger, and people are eating a lot more processed foods than my generation or your generation did. Does that play a role in here?
It does play a little bit of a role. We're not really sure how much. It's difficult to do those studies, but we do know that diets that are high in red meat tend to be a risk factor, whereas diets higher in fruits and vegetables and whole grains is somewhat protective.
Do we always associate colon cancer with males? Is it like, I don't know why, but I just kind of...
So males do have a higher incidence than females, but it's common in females too. In fact, if you combine men and women together, it's the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States.
Okay.
And 1 in 20 people, or 5% of the U.S. population, will at some point be diagnosed with colon cancer.
That's an alarming figure.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. I don't know if you've seen these ads on TV. I've seen them. It's the...
Cologuard?
Yes.
Yes.
What is that?
So that's another stool-based test. It actually combines FIT test with a DNA portion as well. So it's a little bit more sensitive than the FIT test, but it's also very expensive. And the biggest problem with it is that it has a high false positive rate. And what that means is that the test will be positive even when you don't have polyps or colon cancer. So many people then end up undergoing a colonoscopy in addition to that test who don't really need it. Mm-hmm. So currently there are guidelines out, and the current guidelines recommend colonoscopy and FIT testing as the best tests, the tier 1 tests. And the Cologuard is considered a tier 2 test. Okay. So we're not doing those as much.
Is that the ads are very well done.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to be the FedEx guy to pick up that package and deliver it.
Right.
Talk about tomorrow night, June 27th. What can people expect at the Miller Street Conference Center? What are you going to be talking about specifically?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk a little bit about just what is cancer, what is colon cancer, what are things that you can do to decrease your risk, and how to prevent it. And prevention is primarily through screening. So I'll talk about all the different options for screening. And I believe that the best test is the one that you will do. So meaning if you're willing to do a colonoscopy, that's probably the best test. But if you don't want to do a colonoscopy, there are other things that you can do, such as the FIT test, such as the Cologuard. There are other things like CT colonography, et cetera. So,
but again, it's completely preventable if they catch it in time. You can't say that of a lot of cancers.
No, skin cancer sometimes.
Yeah, same kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Our colonoscopy, I can speak from personal standpoint, are colonoscopies as bad as it sounds? I mean, people always have their colonoscopy story. I don't know why people want to talk about these things. For me, from a personal standpoint, it wasn't that uncomfortable. The procedure itself wasn't bad. It was leading up to it that you didn't like. You couldn't eat. You had to drink this junk. But
that's what we hear again and again is that it's really the prep. And once you're through the prep, it's kind of easy street from there. We have lightened up on our dietary restrictions a little bit. We let you eat some low carb or some low fiber things such as saltine crackers, and my husband even had a cup of noodles during his prep, and it seemed to be fine. So we're lightening up a little bit to make it easier. The volume of the prep is a problem. There are some preps out now that are lower volume, 2 liters instead of 4 liters, so patients are tolerating that better. But once you get through the prep, we give you, very nice medications that make you sleepy, and a lot of people describe it as being kind of like a little bit drunk, and most people don't even remember a lot of it. So once you get through that part of it,
you gotta lay on your side for a while, but it's okay. And I treated myself. I went to the windmill. I had a big steak.
Yeah.
That was all, because of course you're starving. Yeah, you're
yes.
absolutely starving. Have we missed anything any points that you want to specifically get across while I have you here, Doctor, about Thursday night? First of all, where did this come from? Whose idea was this to have this happen?
Well, so Confluence Health has made colon cancer screening one of their priorities this year. And in 2016, we joined a nationwide initiative called 80% by 2018, which is over 2,000 organizations nationwide that our goal was to get 80% of the eligible population screened for colon cancer by 2018. And we really fell short of that. We're currently at around 67% nationwide. So that means that a third of Americans still have not been screened. That equates to 23 million Americans. So we're really just trying to get the word out to patients. I really want to stress that there are options. If you don't want to do a colonoscopy, come talk to us anyway. There are other options. And then the only other thing that I'd like to add is, the younger people that with the increased incidence, it's really important that if you have any symptoms of colon cancer, such as bleeding, abdominal pain, or if your stools are getting narrower in caliber, you need to let your doctor know right away so that we can get you in for a colonoscopy. And please ask your family members if they have a history of colon cancer or polyps. Most people know if their family member has had colon cancer, but we don't sit around the Thanksgiving table talking about our colon polyps, and so most of us don't know about that. But if your family member has had some large polyps, then you're eligible for an earlier colonoscopy, and that's how we can save the lives of those 40 to 50-year-olds that are...
What about those people who have absolutely no idea what their genetic background is because they're adopted or whatever? You err on the side of caution, right?
Well, we start at 50, at this point, but hopefully the insurance companies will start covering it at 45 too.
Free advice for the 25-year-olds out there who want to eliminate any kind of risk of, the risk will always be there, but from a diet and exercise standpoint, so they can rest easy about the possibility of getting colon cancer, provided that there's no family history of it. What advice would you give them?
It's the same thing that we tell patients for every disease: heart disease, diabetes, everything. So don't smoke, don't drink in excess, eat a good healthy diet, and exercise.
It's as simple as that.
It is.
It's
simple, right?
Again, colonoscopies aren't that bad. They're not great, but they're not as bad as it sounds. Just get one, but if not, go see the good doctor on Thursday, June 27th at the Miller Street Conference Center. What time, Clint? Clint's off camera. What time?
6 to 8.
Clint doesn't know.
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
And we will have refreshments.
Oh, good, good.
Including some special cookies. I'll just leave it at that.
And it's called, once again, Cover Your Butt: The Importance of Colorectal Cancer Screenings and Education. I guess one last question is why is this? Is there a colon cancer? I didn't hear about it when I was a kid. Now you hear about it all the time. Why? Is it? Are we just eating worse now?
Actually, the incidence has been decreasing over the last 20 to 30 years. So I think it's just that we're getting better at trying to be ahead of things. We used to be more reactive, but with a lot of things, lung cancer screening, breast cancer screening, cervical cancer screening, we're just being a lot more proactive about trying to prevent things and catch them early.
These things are, you can catch them quicker than you could, say, 20, 25, 30 years ago. Yeah. Technology itself has improved.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I want you to take the rest of the day off.
Thank you.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Where will you be a year from now? You could be working as a medical assistant. The Charter College Medical Assistant Certificate Program gets you work ready in 10 months. Add 5 more months to earn an associate degree. We prepare you with hands-on training and support you after graduation with job search help and interview skills. Institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, Charter has been training healthcare professionals for more than 30 years. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Make plans for family fun time during Founders Day in Cashmere. Friday night starts off with the free barbecue, face painting, and kids karaoke right in downtown Cashmere. From a Saturday street fair to the ping pong ball drop to the 7 p.m. Crunch Pack Parade, Cashmere's Founders Day has fun for the whole family. Please thank the supporters of this message.
Liberty Orchards bring the family to tour the Applets and Cotlets factory. And Blackburn Financial, your future planned with care.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host, and let's take a look at that weather forecast one more time. And as we mentioned at the top of the hour, even though it's a beautiful morning, and you think, well, okay, we're looking good, a significant change is coming to our weather. We're going to have a very active afternoon, showers, thunderstorms throughout the region. Could see some lightning at times, could see some heavy rain, especially this afternoon. As far as thunderstorms today, not so much. But tonight, yeah, the odds increase quite a bit. Take a look at that. Where you live, the darker the color, the worse off you are. So for the Wenatchee Valley, there is a possibility of some thunderstorms this afternoon. The real thing we're worried about is heavy rain expected tonight. It could really come down. Not good for the cherry growers. We're in a drought situation. We could use more rain, but just not right now. So take a look at that graphic there, and you'll see what we're looking at. For today, there is a chance of showers and thunderstorms. What's going on is there is a low pressure off the Oregon coast. It's spinning counterclockwise. It's grabbing a bunch of unstable and warm air, and it's bringing it right up into eastern Washington. So everything is coming from the south. So you want to look to the south as the day progresses. By noon today, the clouds will really start thickening up. By 2 or 3 this afternoon, it'll be quite cloudy. And then we start looking at a chance of thunderstorms and showers. They say showers likely, certainly increasing clouds. A stray thunderstorm is possible. We'll top off today at about 80 degrees. The big story is going to be tonight. We could see some heavy rain tonight and some thunderstorms and even some lightning. The timetable for this is about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight till about 2 o'clock in the morning. We are definitely going to see some rain. There's a very good chance of rain. Anywhere between 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, which is a lot of rain for us. But of course, you get inside a thunderstorm and the rain can come down even harder than that. So that's the big story, is thunderstorms and heavy rain possible tonight into the early morning hours on Thursday. Can't rule out a thunderstorm on Thursday, even though we'll see some sunshine. Cool temperature Thursday of only 74. That's about 7 degrees below normal. Not a lot of wind and about a 50-50 chance of precipitation coming your way on Thursday. Thursday night, a 30% chance of rain, lots of clouds, 57 for the overnight low. Friday, we start, even though it's going to be cloudy and a little bit of rain, by the time we get to Friday afternoon, we should have dodged any bullets that we still have in the chamber. And then a good-looking weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But again, significant rain is in the forecast for tonight between about 8 or 9 o'clock until about 2 o'clock in the morning. My guest tomorrow is Stacy Lukensmeyer from Wenatchee Valley College. Everybody have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye.